Welcome to our reflection on Sunday for January 24th. My name is the Reverend Michael Drew Davis, and I will have you joining me in one of my more favorite places to be, which is sitting here in the pickup line waiting for my youngest child to get out of school. There is sort of this moment of forced relaxation that I get in this place. Now, sometimes I spend time making phone calls and doing contacts and checking in on people. Sometimes I spend this time doing my Bible reading for each day, my devotional reading for each day, preparation work for different references or so forth that I'm looking forward to in my sermons for that weekend. But this is sort of, for me, this last moment before, as I've shared in other times in this video, one of my favorite moments of the day. I love my kids so much. I love them, and I cannot wait. I love going to work. I love everything about my job. I am blessed to be faith leader at North Coast United Methodist Church at 1501 Kelly Street in Oceanside, California. So it's not that I don't like who I spend the day with, but man, I really look forward to this moment of the day. It's sort of the moment of anticipation and the moment of, hey, I finally get to be with my kid. And it's just awesome. I'm sharing that in this setting at this moment because it's really pivotal in the conversation that I started on Sunday with my oldest child. As we talk about the ways that people draw out the best of us, as we talk about the ways that we have gifts and other people have gifts, and we have shortcomings and other people's have shortcomings, and we find these places in productive, not codependent, but productive relationships. And we'll talk about the difference between productive relationships and codependency in a second. But we find these places in productive relationships that we step up and we lead, and another person steps up and they lead, and everybody actually finds a place of value on the journey. You know, Moses had a place of value as the visible, active leader of the Exodus movement. And Aaron, his brother, had a place of value as the one who communicated, the one that gave verbiage to everything that Moses wanted to accomplish. And we see this true blending of blessings, that where one had the actions and step forth visibly, the other one could become the calming communicator to make everything make sense for others. One of the things that we did not talk about on Sunday is how people receive that when the leaders flop back and forth. We talked about how some people have gifts and other people have gifts, and then when they work together, they kind of find this wholeness and ability, because where one person may come short, another person picks up the staff, so to say, using an imagery of the Exodus movement. Another person comes along and picks up the staff and leads in that moment. So where I use the narrative on Sunday for leadership, what I want to use the narrative for today is not so much the narrative of leadership, but the narrative of being led. And one of the doors that begins to open, some people, let's look at the Exodus movement to do this. There's people that were on this very fearful journey. leaving a place where they found comfort, even though that they were severely oppressed in that environment. It was still their environment. They had some kind of provisions that existed for them in that environment. They had certain levels of care. I almost used the word comfort. I will not use the word comfort, but they had some levels of care in that moment. So for them to leave, they had to leave some kind of sustainability, and through leaving that sustainability begins to become this thing where that you can become severely uncomfortable. I mean, honestly, I'll use the narrative that I just shared with you. I am comfortable in this moment because I know within a few moments, my youngest child is going to be sitting here in the car next to me and provide me just loving, caring support, and hey, daddy man, how you doing? So I look forward to that. I look forward to getting to my house. I look forward to hopping on the stationary bike that's in the living room. I look forward to putting on WWE and riding a bike for an hour. There's these guarantees that exist in my being that provide comfort. Well, they weren't in the Exodus movement. The individuals were not in an ideal situation. But even within the ideal situation, there's guarantees. There's going to be some kind of food. There's going to be some form of shelter. And even though it's not the ideal, and even though it's oppressive and harmful, it existed. But there exists a necessity that it's not right. So you need to go on this journey, and sometimes to go on the journey, you need to step away from the guarantees so that you can find places of growth. So as we look at this Exodus movement, there's people in there that are giving away some levels of certainty so that they can obtain the ideal. And it's the ideal. It's even a little bit less than the ideal. They're trying to achieve what they should just have. They should just have it. Everyone should have a place of equality. Everyone should have a place of opportunity. Everyone should have a place for comfort and care. And those on this Exodus movement did not have that. So they're existing inside this fear. And within the fear, it makes it a little bit scary to try things. Within this fear, it makes it a little bit scary to understand things. And now I took the long way around to finally get to this point. When you are already trying to comprehend something in a very scary moment of being, there's specific ways that you need to receive it. So we get into this place where it's not just a necessity for the leaders to understand, hey, there's times that I don't understand this. I need to let someone else step up. It's the understanding that there's ways that the people I'm trying to guide and care for, there's ways that they comprehend things. And there's times that I need to step back so that someone else can have the voice of care and comfort, so that within their verbiage, within their being, within their actions, it may actually connect to another person I just can't connect to. It is important to not just to recognize the need that Moses needed Aaron so that he could be a leader. It is a necessity to look into the reality that it's more than it's Aaron that needed Moses so that he would have something to verbally articulate to other people. It becomes a necessity that the people who are following them on this uncertain journey needed to have either a person who was active and displaying actions of care and comfort, or they needed to have an individual who could speak and teach and train and describe to them the potential that this journey could hold. I want us to think about that for a moment. There is a necessity of realizing not only that there's different ways that people teach or lead, but there's also different ways that people learn and grow in their comprehension. And even deeper than that, on a third emotionally based level, there is a different way that people connect to things spiritually and are motivated spiritually to participate in things. In our lives, we need the active teachers. In my life, I needed the active teacher because of my dyslexia, because of my learning disability. Anything that has been spoken to me, any directions that I've had to read, that's a painful journey. But for me, within my life, the moments that I had someone show me what to do, it empowered me to watch it, to mimic it, to put it into play. All the way down in the early years of my life, when I was in fifth grade, elementary school band, I had a music teacher that showed us how to play an instrument. And through Mr. Charles Butler showing me what keys to press, how to do my embouchure, how to put my reed correctly on the mouthpiece, through me mimicking those actions, I learned how to play saxophone. I had a dear soul who was tortured through trying to teach me how to play guitar. A man, his name is Bob Gibson, not the Cincinnati Cardinals picture, but his name was Bob Gibson. And Bob Gibson going through the painful task of showing me the fingering positions for different chords. And it took me some time, but I had to watch and mimic him. If I got a guitar playing book or a saxophone book and tried to read it and mimic it, it would have been a completely different path for me. But my life in music started with watching and mimicking. There's something about my brain, and I don't claim to have perfect pitch. I don't. But I can match tones. If you tell me to sing a C, I can't just sing it. But if you sing C, I can match it. So even with that, it became with singing. It became me learning how to mimic sounds that were displayed to me by someone else doing it. So my life has been this life of watching someone do something and learning how to do it. I had a complete blessing. My freshman year home from college, one of the jobs that I had my freshman year in college is I worked in a furniture factory. I worked at Hooker Furniture in Martinsville, Virginia. And one of the things that I just really enjoyed about having that job, someone showed me what to do, and then I had to do it. Someone showed me again, and then I had to do it. Someone showed me again, and I had to do it. And then they left me to do it over and over and over and over again, using a routing drill to make entertainment centers. There's a lot of repetitive motion, especially when you're working in a furniture factory and you're making furniture not just for one person, but for a nationwide company. So it's that repetitive motion of watching and learning and doing. It helped me understand it, and it helped me figure it out. I mean, even my preaching style came from watching and learning and mimicking. Now, I've shared this story many times, but I'll share it one more. Once upon a time, it was the teenage dream to grow up and be a professional wrestler. And I used to have these long 3-hour drives from my college back home. And I would sit and practice doing interviews, promos, as if I was going to be a wrestler someday. I practiced having information that I wanted to share, and I actively practiced sharing it. I had 3-hour long car rides that my parents asked me why my voice was so hoarse. If I was driving in a car by myself, I didn't have anyone to speak to. Why was my voice so hoarse at the end of those drives? And the drive was, okay, I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about Burger King. I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about Harry Chapin. I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about how to use a routing drill to make a entertainment center. And it was the active doing and doing and doing that's helped me to this day in my preaching style. So, again, the importance of Moses being the active leader and Aaron being the speaker is there are people who learn in so many different and varying ways. It's not just helping Moses be better for the mission service. It's not just about helping Aaron to be better for the service of mission. It's the people following them need the leader and the speaker so that everyone has an opportunity to understand what's going on. Everyone has the opportunity to find a connection. My life is surrounded by so many scholars. I have friends that have PhDs and DMins and alphabets at the end of their name because of the years upon years of reading and study that they've done. And I know that they learn about different things through reading, through comprehension, through study, where I learn from living and interacting. It's so strongly visible to me that and this just jumped into my mind, where that we have some pastors who speak very well, breaking down text, grammatical text, and speaking about the meanings of words and breaking down the meanings of words. But then you move into a Michael Drew Davis whose sermons are built on experiences, whose sermons are built on things that I've interacted with or I've watched other people interact with. Even my teaching style compared to my dear friends with MDivs and DMins and their journey displays how we learn, because it also is reflected in how we teach. My experiential sharing experiences with you through sermons, and then another person's breaking down words and text and talking about the potential of what it could mean and what it could display to another person. And within it all, both styles are crucially important. See, our journey working together isn't just about I need an Aaron in my life to be the speaker. The what's important about ministry is not me becoming the active Moses in someone else's life to help them in their ministry. The whole journey, and what I like about all of our pivotal importance of being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ, is we all have a tool that we can use that will open a door to a completely random person to find their place on the journey. Being the ones on the Exodus journey so that they can discover a place in the promised land either by mimicking actions or hearing the words of promise. Hold on to those things. I want you to realize, because I get stuck in this too, I want you to realize you're not a less than if you can't do something that someone else does. You're not. What you are is you may be holding the key that will reach a person that the person that you're jealous of can't reach. You may be holding the gifts and skills that can help create a well-rounded ministry that it takes you and that person you're jealous of to work together to achieve it. And the real blessing in it all is when we truly get locked in on this reality, we find ourselves growing and finding ourselves grow in such a way that we find wholeness in our identities, and we help others find wholeness in their identities as well, either by the teacher or the one that steps back and begins to support so that someone else can teach the lead, the one that watches someone learn, or the person that holds their hand and guides them in a path of learning. This whole thing is pivotal so that everyone has the opportunity to be transformed by the message of Jesus Christ. Thank you for enjoying this message with me, listening to this message to me. My name is the Reverend Michael Drew Davis. God is love. Amen.
I'd like to have the opportunity to get to know you. Please email us at ncumcinfo@gmail.com. And if you've been enjoying our services online, please email us. Please say hello. Again, that's ncumcinfo@gmail.com. And also, if you'd like to give to our church, please go to northcoastumc.org and click on the Give button. Again, that's northcoastumc.org and click on the Give button. Thank you for joining us.